But yeah, oh my goodness, like, yeah, man. right. It's kind of. Woo, 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 woo. You know what I've been eating a lot of?
Let's hear.
Salad. Wait, have I mentioned this before?
Penis.
Yeah.
Penis.
Like, man, I'm like buying like bags of salad, like dumping them on the plate, like pouring ranch dressing, throwing some cheese on there.
Italian, all the way.
Dude, I'm basic. Come on, man.
Get yourself a nice balsamic vinaigrette.
Balsamic vinegar.
Make your own Italian.
Yeah, just make your own Italian.
Just reminded me of that Lucky Star reference or whatever. Where like,
I haven't seen it.
yeah, there's a character here's she's watching like TV or whatever, and like the guy's like making jokes or whatever, and he's like, then just add some balsamic vinegar, and then she just kind of repeats it throughout the day. Yeah.
Balsamic vinegar.
Yeah. Oh man, I really like Lucky Star.
I do need to watch that. I wanted to watch Nichijou for a long time, but I didn't know where to watch it. And the last time I like looked for it, I didn't have Funimation, but apparently it's on Funimation.
Yeah.
So now I have
there's the dub
Funimation.
on Funimation also. Yeah, if you want to watch the dub.
So I want to watch Nichijou.
I wonder how well
that
like
deer scene you showed me way back when.
Yeah.
So good.
I wonder how well something like Lucky Star has aged. Because I know we would still like it, but how would like
from
a
what
new person getting into anime would think of Lucky Star?
I mean, George would be the test, but from what I've heard, it
I'm not
actually
into anime though.
it actually
I'd be into
is
something
not.
else. Well,
And like, which is very strange to me because when I think about it, it's like I didn't watch it when it first came out or whatever, but I can still like see like the appeal of it.
I mean, I think
one of the first cute girls doing cute things.
It was one of the
shows.
first. It was one of the first things that
Moe.
KyoAni did like after Haruhi or whatever, and it was like,
it
yeah,
was one of the first like satirical shows.
yeah,
Where it just didn't.
like there was like Pony Pony Dash or whatever, but that was very Shaft, and Shaft is still very weird.
Okay.
If you like watch how they do
It
stuff.
was still. I think Lucky Star was one of the first like very self-aware shows.
Yeah, because so like
Okay.
there's points where like so when they get to the end of the episode, they'll throw in a quick segment called Lucky Channel or whatever, and it's basically
you
them.
talked about
They're commentating on like what happened for the episode, but it's also like its own thing.
Yeah.
And people will like they'll take like a message that like someone wrote in between between a couple episodes or whatever, and like just kind of read it and make a skit out of it or whatever.
Didn't know.
And it's like, man, like some of the stuff that they do in Lucky Star is like, man, like that's like crazy. Like they're like interacting with the audience also and like kind of adding things.
I
And
was
stuff.
thinking more along the lines like how the humor and the style and everything.
Oh, yeah,
translate
yeah, yeah.
To somebody that's getting to anime these days.
And like, yeah, a lot. So all the references in it are 2007 prior. Yeah, prior. Yeah, yeah, 2007 and prior, because it came out in 2007, obviously. So it's like, they're referencing like, they're like singing like opening themes and like from like a show. Like Konato will randomly just start singing karaoke songs or whatever, and it'll be from like a song from like the 70s or something like that.
Yeah.
And like the characters are like, "How old are you?"
Yeah. I like the sheer fact that the twins are just a straight ripoff of the Clanad twins.
Did it come out after?
I mean, their style is literally just the
Their
ripoff of.
yeah, their style is kind of ripped off, but I'd say
I mean,
no,
not
they're
the
yeah,
personality.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just saying
right.
they literally lifted those characters
yeah.
from Clanad, put them there, and then just gave them new personalities.
Right. Like, man, like, the Lucky Star characters are so, like, enjoyable, in my opinion. Yeah. Apple.
Ringo.
Manana.
That's tomorrow.
Margaretti.
Manzana.
Oh, manzana. I said manana. I was like, that's tomorrow.
I just had my mouth full.
Yeah, George, I would recommend, if you ever get around to it, like, give Lucky Star a chance.
Oh, no, I
You
want
know?
to.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not
if you
opposed
don't
to
like it, I wouldn't be surprised. But at the same time,
I don't
if
know.
you do
I
like it,
everything.
that's true.
I don't know. Lucky Star is a very, like we're saying, it came out in 2007. So it's that very mid-2000 humor and stuff, and a lot of references from that time.
Yeah. Like like also watch it today and pick up something new reference or whatever from some random show that random old show that I just watched recently or something like that. And I can see a lot of appeal to it, but I can see why you wouldn't and stuff like that. So, but yeah, give it a chance,
I don't know. I feel like there's not a whole lot of shows. Like, I mean, even like the bad stuff I've watched, like I hate Tokyo Ghoul. I'm never gonna watch Tokyo Ghoul again. But like most of the stuff on my list, even if I'm like, this was not a good show, I could watch it again and still probably have fun.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like Lucky Star just purely based off the balsamic vinaigrette bit, I'm like, there's stuff in here I will like because that's hilarious.
There's a lot of dumb humor in
Yeah.
that aren't references. Like,
Yeah.
there's a bit about a mosquito. I love
Yeah.
Konata's talking to her dad.
Yeah.
He's like, if you flex hard enough, mosquitoes can't take out the sucker.
Yeah.
So he just sits there and flexes when one gets on him. And then he was just like, see, it works. And then him and the mosquito are just looking at each other. He was like, oh, no. It's like, do I have to flex forever now? It's just dumb bits like that.
There's like other like also like small like like light chuckle like things that they'll do also where it's like what's it called, like some of the characters will like visit each other's houses, right? It's summer, it's hot out, they have the windows open, they have a fan blowing, and one of them wakes up and they go down and they just start blowing into the fan or whatever, right? And stuff like that, and they're just like, oh, you're such a kid, like like still doing that or whatever. Their friend comes over, does the same thing or whatever, and they make it like they're just like, man,
It's Konata doing it.
Yeah,
and then the twin with the short hair does it.
Tsukasa did it, and then Konata comes over and she does it.
Yeah,
and
then when they go later, they're back at home, and the older sister who's making fun of them just goes up to a fan and does it.
Yeah. And they also after she mentions that the first time, like her dad comes in and she's like, you were doing that this morning though. It's random, like it's little stuff that where they're just like, those times when blank or something like that. It's a lot of that.
I like that
going in.
It's like observational humor stuff that you just like to think about but don't talk to anybody about.
Yeah,
they're just doing it and talking about it.
I just don't understand how you're reaching the conclusion that I may not like it when all you keep talking about are things where I'm like, that sounds amazing.
Right. Because a lot of references.
Because most weebs who watch it now, they're looking for the references. They're looking for the otaku references.
Gotcha,
and they're not looking at the show that's still behind it.
Because it's very fourth wall breaky kind of.
Super fourth wall. Like literally, Kiln just shows up. Kiln shows up in random episodes.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
It's crazy. It's
the entire thing is about breaking.
The main character is voiced by Haruhi also, and they make like references to that. There's a lot of Haruhi references because KyoAni also did it, and they did it like a year after Haruhi or whatever.
I mean, it makes sense, especially since Haruhi was so popular.
Yeah. There's Kogias references. There's Gundam references. Yeah, there's all this stuff.
There's literally an entire episode where they like go to Comic Cat and just make references.
Yeah. But like we were saying, there's still a show behind it and stuff, and that's one of the reasons why I consider it like one of my favorites or whatever.
It's like
that's awesome.
When it first came out, a lot of people were saying this is the Seinfeld of anime. Like there's some overarching stuff, there's some things you can connect, but it's really just people in houses or in different locations just goofing off.
Yeah, and it's not even necessarily the fact that they are goofing off. It's like they're literally just kind of doing like their everyday thing, and like you as an outsider watching it, it's like funny.
Yeah, they're just dumb.
I like it.
The climax of the first episode is them talking about chocolate cornets and how to eat them, and that's like the overarching thing of the first episode is like eating a chocolate cornet and how you would eat it.
So
it's like the bread that's shaped like a seashell cornet.
Like
filled with
a
chocolate.
spiral shape kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever had those.
I've heard it's a Japanese thing.
Oh, okay. I've heard the name before.
Think of just like a seashell bread.
What kind of seashell?
Like a conch shell kind of.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then just filled with chocolate.
Okay, I like it.
And the entire thing is like, how do you eat this? Do you eat it from the bottom or the top? Do you rip from the bottom and dip it in the chocolate?
Yeah.
Like how would you eat a chocolate cornet? And Konada is just going around and asking all her friends how they would eat it, or they just show up at her desk and start talking to her about it.
It's a good topic.
But it's like
that's like the pinnacle.
That's the
whole
first episode.
That's what they established. I like it. Lead into the rest of the show with that. Genius. Also, based on when we talked last Sunday, we recorded.
Yeah.
About all the visual novel stuff. I started Zero Time Dilemma. I picked that back up. I bought it on Steam, and I got the Nonary games too. Okay, yeah, I have seen those before.
Yeah.
Okay, kind of a player a little
bit. Like a spiral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But I picked that back up because I was like, I need to start over. I'm not getting the DS out. I'm just gonna play it on this. And like, the controls on that game are pretty broken.
Yeah.
They're not good with the PC port. It's bad. And I was like looking it up, trying to figure it out. Like you'll open the menu and it like pops up the menu at the bottom with like your save and look at the log and this and that and the other. You can't use it. It doesn't work. You can't click on it. The controller doesn't connect. You can't use it. You have to click outside the window and then it works so that you can actually use it. But there's like lag on everything. So I found out at the very least, you can just hit, I found one guy who his solution was, I just open the menu, hit Alt, and then I can use the menu. So I have to, so I'm using controller.
Click.
So I open the menu, I'm using controller, hit Alt on the keyboard, and then I can navigate the menu.
I mean,
it's so broken.
It's not a hard game to use a mouse and keyboard. I mean, it's not like very gameplay.
It's not
but yeah,
too bad.
I can see why I would feel more comfortable to just hold
The
the
problem
controller
with using the keyboard and mouse is they don't have any prompts for what buttons to use with keyboard or mouse at all. They are not in the game.
Right.
So
Is there not like a mod or anything?
not that I was able to find.
So remember,
Also, I don't really.
you gotta remember.
do mods, so I'm not really sure
I
how to
mean,
do
some
that
people do
necessarily.
quality of life mods, or like
Yeah.
they put the keyboard shortcuts on there for you.
So
that's
like
cool.
I was mentioning, this was a Kickstarter game. You know, it's amazing that it actually exists in the first place
I
or whatever.
agree.
But like, when you look at it, it's very much like a very low quality Telltale game.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's so good. I mean, the stories in those games, all the Zero Escape games,
right.
amazing.
And the fact that you've already played the first two, you can see the returning characters. It's like, whoa.
Yes. Oh, I love it.
There's a
I can't
lot
wait to
of
see where the
returning
story
ones.
goes.
It-
I'm having fun with that.
Yeah, Zero Time Dilemma is it's very mechanically not the best or whatever, but yeah.
So much.
I know. I
I'm a broken man.
know. I know.
Broken man. Yeah. What else was
I was thinking of something that George started doing that to me. I can't remember what I was thinking of.
I'll do it again. Undo it.
I've been playing a lot of RuneScape lately.
I did. Wait, old school classic?
Not old school. RuneScape 3.
So
What
what?
RuneScape became.
Yeah, what did it get released on Steam or something?
I saw
It
that.
came out on Steam, but
Yeah.
I don't really care. I just
You
felt
just
like
go
playing-
for the site or
So,
something.
Big Cat and I are really looking forward to playing New World.
I
Okay.
know.
The Amazon MMO that's coming out.
When is that? Is there a date for it? I haven't heard
Let me
anything
get
about
to that because that's the upsetting thing and why I'm playing RuneScape.
it. There's a story here.
So,
I can feel it.
Set up.
it's been delayed like 3 times now. It was supposed to come out last year, but then they delayed it, and everybody was like, "Oh, probably because Corona." But it's Amazon.
A
They've got
delayed game is eventually good, but a rush game is bad forever.
Amazon has trillions of dollars. They can make this game.
So much money.
So they kept delaying it, and then they were like, "Okay, set date May 25th, 2021." Cool. Big Cat and I were pumped up, excited. We already pre-ordered like the super deluxe editions and everything. We're good to go.
What's wrong with you people?
We want to play, right?
What's wrong with you?
Dude, we're looking forward to it.
It's gonna be
Then,
garbage.
we don't care. We want to play. Then, like 2 weeks ago, there was an announcement. New World delayed until August 31st. I hit rock bottom.
He broke.
I was like, I just want to play New World so bad. Like, that's like what gets me through the day. It's another
That's
day.
it.
It's like another day to New World.
My head keeps going to Small World for
Yeah,
some
it's
reason.
not Small.
Yeah,
New
yeah.
World.
I like Small World.
Probably a better game.
But this leads up to RuneScape. I hit
Yes.
rock bottom. I was like, I just want to play something. Just do something, just grind in a game.
Yeah.
And
Be that woodcutter.
RuneScape is always there for you.
RuneScape is always there for me. So I've been playing RuneScape lately.
Solid. I always
So,
think about RuneScape a lot
are-
every now and then
Are the
randomly.
newer RuneScapes, like RuneScape 3, is it the same as Classic, just like a graphic upgrade, or is like the game fundamentally different?
So it's a graphical update and they changed some stuff. Just
Okay.
like quality of life updates.
But like, does the game start different, or is the world different or anything?
No, it's the
or-
same world. So
Okay.
old school RuneScape is just like what World of Warcraft did. Where
Yeah.
They took Classic. It was like, this is the point in time of the game, and they plopped it down.
Yeah, done, easy.
Old school RuneScape is, this is what the game used to be. We'll just remake that game, and then
I mean, divide it. There's so much nostalgia with that,
Yeah.
so it makes
I mean,
sense
RuneScape
to
3 is
profit
just
on it.
what Old School RuneScape became.
Yes. Okay. So it literally is the exact same game. This is where it went through years of updates.
Yeah.
And
Old School RuneScape is the time machine.
hey, let's just remove all those updates.
Yeah.
Roll those updates back.
Yeah. I mean, they update Old School RuneScape.
Yes.
But it's a new dev team that's taking it down a different path.
That is interesting. That's cool. There's like Divergent series now.
It's still kind of funny that RuneScape is still like a thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
RuneScape is massive.
Right.
So after they released the Steam client version of RuneScape 3, it had more concurrent players on average than Guild Wars 2.
Man.
And Guild Wars 2 is one of the big MMOs.
Yeah. Because so it's like RuneScape was big, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then it kind of, people kind of forgot about it. And then like after like, like YouTube kind of became more of a thing and Twitch started becoming more of a thing and stuff, then it's like people started like, it became more relevant.
I think that the release of Old School RuneScape and then the personalities that started playing Old School RuneScape,
Right.
there were a lot of weird people that played RuneScape and streamed it.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of people with like weird mental problems that played it.
Oh.
They're just really weird people that streamed it.
Right.
Yeah. And now it's starting to build a gambling addiction on a lot of people. It's kind of crazy.
Old School or 3?
Old School.
The new Old School.
The new Old School.
Really?
It's building gambling addiction in people.
Good.
Even more than Overwatch. Yeah.
Overwatch 2 is the thing.
Is that out yet?
I don't think it's not out
It was
yet.
announced a long time ago. Overwatch 2 is just a campaign, but its multiplayer still connects to the original.
Yeah. And
Oh, really?
The original Overwatch will be updated to 2,
So
basically.
you can still play multiplayer, but Overwatch 2 is literally just a campaign story.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, for the competitive scene, like no one cares,
Dude.
but there's so much like
I don't
fan art
understand
and
the
stuff.
competitive scene of Overwatch. There's just too much to follow.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like any MOBA to me or whatever.
don't know.
Like
It's not-
competitive one.
It wouldn't be like any, like, I've played MOBAs, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And when I was watching competitive Overwatch, I was like, I just can't follow it. Because they're cycling between all the players, right?
Right.
And it's hard to orient yourself on the battlefield.
Well, I mean, watching it, yeah.
I mean, they'll have
But-
different camera views where you can see like what's going on the battlefield.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But like when they're just hopping between different like point of views of players, you get disoriented.
Oh,
You know
yeah,
exactly
yeah.
what you're looking at or like
Yeah.
where you've moved.
Yeah.
Because it's a first-person team shooter, so when they keep
Well, I mean, it's
jumping
just-
around and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's
But it's just
ridiculous
like
to follow.
Counter-Strike is pretty easy to follow. It's like once you know the maps, it's really just, you're walking around, you're checking your corners, and it's not as vertical.
I mean, I don't really understand like competitive Overwatch either, but like, I mean, I look at it and I can understand what people are doing and stuff like that and how they're doing it and like why they should do this now and not then and stuff like that. And like,
I mean, for me, like competitive Overwatch is
So
disorienting.
when you watch a competitive game like that, can you actually watch from the perspective of the player, or do they have like other software where you're watching from?
you can have mobile cameras and you can also go into the viewpoint of the character.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
and at will.
it's just kind of whatever the stream is showing at that time.
So
Right.
a lot of competitive games have been doing this recently, where they have their official spectator. Right? This is what the announcers are looking at.
Yeah.
This is what they're feeding to you. This is what you see. But like I know League does this. I know Dota does this. But like they'll have a thing where you can buy into, and it's just like, well, you can now follow a specific person's POV.
But you have to pay to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's an extra service.
Okay.
I don't know if Blizzard ever did that with
Is it
Overwatch.
like
but-
is it like opening just another tab, like
yeah, you just
another
have another,
stream?
you just have another stream up.
I think it'd be really cool if I don't know if it would be like a Twitch end thing or if someone could like develop it, but it would be cool if you could just have one tab open and you could have
manually
essentially
switch between
multiple
them.
streams
I mean,
on one thing, and you could just select.
People make
I wanna
third-party
be
stuff
on-
all the time. There's multi-Twitch view and stuff like that.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, so you can have one tab with like 6 things on it, and you can focus in and get the volume from that, make one bigger.
Well, I'm glad I had a good idea that someone else thought of first.
Yeah, people thought of that like the day Twitch came out.
I mean, it makes sense. It wasn't very hard to come up
Yeah.
with.
Like I know you guys aren't a big fan of it, but man, I really like Overwatch a lot. Like gameplay wise, it's fun to play for me.
yeah, I mean, it was
Yeah.
fun for me when it first came out.
It's not a
but
bad
then they
game. Isn't the user base kind of toxic, or
Oh,
was
super
it was?
toxic.
Oh yeah,
was
yeah,
really
yeah.
toxic?
Absolutely.
I mean,
It's
XQC
so
is
toxic.
part of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's super toxic.
But like, I mean, like,
Not anymore. But
you don't have to really, like if you play with a bunch of friends and stuff like that, you're not playing.
Oh,
with
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah.
You're the team.
Well, it's just like if you ever wanted to get like ranked or competitive or just do anything like this. Super toxic.
I've played competitive less than a handful of times. Yeah.
I got to diamond in like season 1 and 2, and I was like, this is just not worth it.
Right.
It's just not.
I think I
I'm just
played
kind of surprised I own the game.
I played 10 matches in one season, so I think I placed at like gold or silver or something like that, really low or something. And then I never played competitive since and stuff. I just literally play like the base game is fun to me. I don't know. And there's the arcade mode where you can play like different modes, like where you can play like 3v3. Oh my goodness, that's so much fun. When it's like you, 2 other people, 1 life apiece, and then stuff like that. How are you gonna build your team comp? You don't know what they're gonna build or
That is kinda
whatever
fun.
and stuff like that. And then it's like, how are you going to work as a team
They're
to
good
beat
modes.
these 3 other
They're
players?
good modes.
So that's like the fun part of Overwatch, in my opinion, is just playing stuff like that, playing like team deathmatch or something like that
Yeah.
with the
That's
fun
what
characters.
a lot of people do with Dota 2 now. Like, a lot of people don't even play the main Dota 2 game.
Yeah.
A lot of people just go to the arcade and play stupid shit.
Yeah, because whenever I play the main game or
What game
whatever,
even is Dota?
It's a MOBA.
it's
a
MOBA.
league.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never played or watched Dota.
Overwatch is a MOBA, but it's also not.
It's an arena shooter.
Yeah, but like the goal of the game
Arena
is
shooter.
no, like
No, it's
It's-
turn-based strategy.
it's not an
It's-
arena.
it's
It's
an
not an
arena
arena shooter.
I mean, it's not an arena shooter in
yeah.
the sense like Quake, but the aim that they're going for is an arena shooter on all the
It,
battlefields.
it's more of like a very team.
What does MOBA stand for?
Multiplayer online
That makes sense.
Overwatch is very weird.
Wait, so is like CS:GO a MOBA? Then, because how is CS:GO all that? What about?
First-person shooter.
Oh, but I get just because Overwatch is third person. That's totally
Yeah.
because
I mean-
I feel like
I
the
mean, there's
gameplay is
different-
essentially the same though.
There's
right?
different
Other than the
things in
camera,
first-person
right?
shooters because like CS:GO style, like CS:GO is a genre now because like the whole thing is like planting a bomb.
Yeah, because like Valorant, that
So-
Overwatch is like capture a point, move a payload.
Yeah.
It's never based. Overwatch isn't based on killing the other players. It's based on doing a task.
Oh,
Doing
okay.
an objective.
Yeah, and however, it's less of killing them. It's more of get them away from what you're trying to do.
Okay.
And then when you're killing them, you actually have to like time killing them because if they
Yeah.
stagnate, they can perpetually.
That's
Yeah,
not really
because
an
of the
aspect of something like CS:GO or
Yeah.
Valorant or
CS:GO,
whatever.
you
I mean,
die and you
You wait till
that's
the next
it.
round.
Yeah, next round, man.
Now, I mean, same thing with competitive Call of Duty because they play demolition. It's one life.
Right. And that's also when I was saying the 3v3 or whatever. It's one life, It's you do a round and then you wait till the next round. So that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
It doesn't sound very
I
fun to
guess.
me personally.
I
That
don't
makes sense.
care too much about Overwatch.
Yeah, I don't follow it.
Chase is on this boat.
I don't really follow any esports, to be honest. It's not my thing.
I like watching Evo when Evo comes around.
That's all the
Yeah.
fighting games. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's fun.
When
that
do
can
they
be
announce,
very entertaining.
When is Evo?
July. Usually the last week.
Did we have it last year? No, right.
So are they? Because Melee was an Evo, the last Evo, wasn't it? Or was that the first Evo without Melee in a while? Because they did Ultimate
It's
instead.
been like 2 or 3 years since we
Oh,
did
really?
an Evo.
Okay.
They didn't bring Melee. They put in Under Night.
They put in Under Night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, good for them.
And at the time, I was just like, man, they're putting in Under Night? Like that, it was like question. And then I played Under Night and I was like, man, they put it Under Night.
It's just like they needed a new fight. They needed a new anime fighting game because they took out Persona,
Oh, right,
and then they didn't want to have 2 Smash games, so they took an Ultimate, took out Melee.
Right. Because Ultimate's the new thing. And yeah, people are going to be like, why are you putting Ultimate in? Yeah. Ultimate's always probably going to have more players than Melee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And whatever new Smash
The-
Brothers.
The barrier of entry into Melee is so ridiculous that it's hard to get new people into it. So you're seeing the same faces all the time. So at Evo, it's always like Armada, Mango, like a Hungry Box, like the same like 5 people left in the
Right.
top. So you're just like, well, yeah, it's great that it has a lot of viewers, but it's like it's stagnating.
Did you guys see the trailer for Knockout City?
No.
No, No. I
So
haven't.
it's I don't know if it's a battle royale. I don't think it is, but it's basically like a dodgeball kind of game. It's basically like some kind of like dodgeball game, like a third-person dodgeball game or whatever.
What?
Yeah, there's balls. You're jumping around this, like, if I'm not mistaken, like city rooftops or something
Okay.
like that. There's balls. You'll pick them up, and you can chuck it at the other person. The other person, keep in mind, you have to be like they can dodge it, or they can like catch it or something. And I think if you have a ball, you can block it or something like that. But you have to also be facing the direction that the ball's coming. Like if a ball's being thrown behind you or whatever, and you're facing the other direction, like you have to turn around and like do it or whatever.
That's awesome.
And like there's little tiny things that it does that look like really fun to play.
Okay.
Like they're like, oh, you don't have a ball? Just have your teammate turn into a ball and throw them instead. It's just like, what? There's like, you can get this ability, so whenever you pick up like the next ball you pick up, it'll act like a sniper rifle, and you can just kind of be like across the map
beam
and
it
like just like
across.
beam it.
What is this coming out on?
I think it's PS4 or
Okay.
PlayStation, PC, if I'm not mistaken, Xbox.
I don't know what that also makes me. That made me remember. Splatoon 3 got announced.
Yeah.
Oh,
and-
yeah, I just saw that this morning.
I didn't. I love Splatoon. I got Splatoon 2. I never played it. I kind of just chipped in because Aaron was like, I want Splatoon 2. And I was the one with the Switch. And I was like, yeah, I'll pay half of it. You pay half of it.
Right,
So
right.
I paid half for a game that cost $60. That's not bad.
Right,
Good
right.
deal for me, but I never played it. But I've heard it's really good.
Splatoon
People really
2's,
like it.
yeah, I mean, it's fun.
Solid.
I played it, but it's like, I didn't have
didn't-
anyone to play with, so.
They announced it, and I was just like, how old is Splatoon 2? What? How long has that been out?
Let me
I
see.
think it's like 4 years, maybe 5.
If I'm not, yeah, it was like 2017, 2018, something like that.
Yeah. Because I think it launched. It wasn't a launch game with Switch, but it wasn't
Right.
far after.
Because let me see, I got my Switch in 2018. Is that when Smash came out? 2018, 2019, something like that. Yeah, because that was the year I got it. Because I was just like, I want to play Smash.
Because, yeah, you need it for Smash.
It was when-
Smashbox.
So yeah, it's 2018.
yeah. So and
Yeah,
then
because it came out the second year. of
Right.
Switch, because
And I
Switch
got-
was March 2017.
I got Splatoon because I wanted to give it a chance again.
Fun game.
Yeah, it's
It's solid.
like when you think about it, when I was watching it at first, I was just like, man, this looks like, it's just like, man, you paint stuff and then people just start painting over your stuff and you're like, stop, it's mine. It's just like,
Splatoon a MOBA?
Splatoon is,
What's the difference between? Is an arena shooter a subgenre of MOBA?
Arena shooters like some like game modes like Halo, Quake, stuff like that.
I didn't play either of those.
Splatoon's like
This helps me nothing.
it's like an area control, like, man, what kind of genre would that be?
I guess it would fall under most of your arena shooter because you're trying to take each other out and control the objectives. So like you're
Right.
Okay.
controlling an objective.
Yeah.
Okay, that sure.
It's more of like,
Arena
like you mark your territory in, like you hold it, like, and you also mark more territory.
It's a good game.
Yeah.
The concept of Splatoon was like just the game design in itself is fun, but like the aesthetic with the squid, the whole inkling kind of thing, it really worked for the game. It all made a lot
I'll
of
say I
sense.
like the aesthetic at first, and then over time I was just like,
It is a very rich game. It's very, very rich.
They
right,
just label it as a third-person shooter.
right.
That's
Well,
not
I mean,
very
that's
helpful at all.
kind of how it plays.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think it because it's like, how does it play? Oh, I'd say it plays like Sunset Overdrive, but with less guns, more paint.
What an interesting game,
inking.
Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah, man.
Apparently it was really good, but it just didn't get a whole lot of love.
Well, it was because it was on Xbox.
Yeah,
And then
that
like,
didn't get a lot of love.
and Sony was just like, come on, Insomniac, come back to us. And they're like, wait, stop, not yet. And they made some other game. What did they make? They made some game where you like fly around with jetpacks or something like that. And then they made
Jetpack Joyride.
right.
Mobile.
And then they're like, yeah, we'll come back and we'll make Spider-Man. And then Sony
Wait, did
bought them.
Insomniac do Sunset Overdrive?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, no wonder it's a decent game. Insomniac makes some pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
They, what else did Insomniac do? Before?
Ratchet and
Was
Clank.
Were they Ratchet and Clank?
Ratchet and
Did
Clank.
they do Sly Cooper?
No, that was Sucker Punch. Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I kind of want to play Ghost of Tsushima again.
Man, I'm
exploring the world was fun.
like
The
it.
story's very basic, but exploring the world is just it was fun.
Story's not that great, but the gameplay, man. Like, ooh,
It's good.
it's so satisfying.
It's
Like when you
solid.
get some parries and like you're like when you can do like a whole battle area and not get hit, but like
Oh,
you're
I love
constantly
it.
pressing buttons. It's like that's a lot of fun.
Did you get Ghost of Tsushima? I thought I didn't.
Yeah,
I borrowed it.
Oh, you borrowed it from him. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
Good game.
And I will say I do like Infamous more because Infamous is very it's
get that.
it's open world, but
Yeah.
it keeps the way your movements can work around it. You can get around the world quickly
Yep.
and stuff, and things just kind of happen around. And it's like it's the kind of stuff where it's like you don't have to like get it, like accept a mission to like start doing it or whatever. Like someone can be being mugged like on the street or whatever. You can like just jump in, stop them, and then just yeet out of there and keep going.
Yeah, there's kind of a little bit of that in Ghost of Tsushima, but
It's more of like get off your horse now.
It's
and,
like just here's some bandits and they have a prisoner or they're terrorizing someone. It's very repetitive for those kinds of encounters.
Infamous, you can literally be riding across a telephone wire and like just kind of like see them on the ground and like snipe them and then like just keep going by and it'll be like it give you the points for completing that like save or whatever.
And it's like it's so much fun to like use the bow and arrow well in Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
But you can't just be riding by, shoot one arrow and just like finish it. you
Right,
know? It's
right.
just there's too many people. You just physically can't
Ghost
do
of
that
I
in
think
that
they
game.
wanted to make it like stylized for that because it's
Oh,
all
yeah.
about using your ghost powers later.
Right.
It's so much
Ghost of Tsushima it's more like whatever you do, you have to commit to it.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. It's like, are you going to stop?
Yeah.
Well, then get off your horse, go and stop them.
Yep.
Or,
But I mean, at the same time, you also have a lot more liberties with a sci-fi game.
True.
oh yeah.
So you can just kind of do whatever with Infamous.
Well, I
I think
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima, they do have to kind of keep it within the time
Yeah.
period.
Yeah. Well, they've established that there's supposed to be another Ghost of Tsushima game or like something in that series, like the same similar style, I think.
Yeah.
And I am for it. I'll play it.
Infamous is very, I mean, as the name is or whatever, it's very based on what your choice. It's like, are you going to be a good guy or a bad guy?
Yeah.
And stuff. And like, how are you going to do this?
And they kind of made it sound like Ghost of Tsushima would have an element of that. I don't think it did.
Yeah.
I don't
They kinda made it-
remember
they
any
kinda-
like moral choices.
Yeah, they kind of made it sound like things will change a little bit depending on how you
Well, I
go
think,
about
like-
fights, like sneaky or like with honor. But it doesn't really change the story or how anyone acts,
Yeah,
as far
I
as you
mean,
know. I
well,
think it
some
just
people-
affects the weather.
Some people act differently.
Yeah, I think.
Oh,
Some of the
right.
civilians will act differently around you, but
It doesn't change story
doesn't
though.
ultimately change the story or anything.
Because I also know that, like,
So, real quick,
when you're sneaky, you'll get like fog and like the
Right.
rainy stuff. That'll happen more often than if you're fighting with honor, where you get kind of like the sunny kind of weather. And I'm like, that's cool. That's like, it's very aesthetic, and I love that.
How would you normally go about it? Would you sneak or would you?
I don't know. I think I did a pretty 50-50 split. It
'Cause,
kind of
yeah.
depends on the situation. Sometimes I would definitely like go in sneaky first, and,
And then
then,
if things get
eventually I would
loud,
just
yeah.
have to
Right.
go because I don't know. I'm really bad at doing the sneaky stuff.
Yeah.
In general, I'm not good
Like-
at it.
I don't have the patience to do a lot of sneaky stuff.
Yeah,
so I
it's
usually
almost-
like just go and gun.
It's kind of tedious.
Because I
after a
usually
while.
see a guy and I'll just like start yelling out to him.
Well, it's also it's so much fun once you get to the point where it's like you can throw a smoke bomb and then you can
Yeah.
just stealth kill 3 people in a row after.
Yeah.
Because it's like you can chain link
Right,
your
right.
stealth kills. It's just like, oh, this is so much fun. And the arrows when you're just sniping people in the head and just pa pa pa. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's so satisfying to feel like I did that. I made it happen. I climbed up on this pole. I sat there and I just killed everyone without
Right.
anyone noticing. Then other times you just walk in, you're like, come at me, and then you just slice 4 people in a row.
Because I started playing
If you can get the time
Assassin's Creed Rogue like a week ago or something like that, and I was just like, man, it's not as satisfying as Ghost of Tsushima is to like, just like play the game. Ghost of Tsushima is really good, but yeah, I think the style of like Infamous is more to what I would like to play, but it's very satisfying whenever you're playing like Ghost of Tsushima and like,
Yeah.
like I was saying, like when you go through a battle and you don't get attacked
Yes.
or whatever,
Yeah.
or
Well,
you don't get hit, you don't get hit.
I still haven't even tried the multiplayer stuff they came out with.
Right,
which
the
I've
survival
heard, which I've
multiplayer.
heard is really good.
Right.
Like I've heard very good things about it. Like it adds a lot to the game. And I
right there.
haven't even put it back in since that happened. I wish it launched with that because then I would have been more inclined to try it, obviously.
Right.
But if it wasn't ready or whatever, then I get that. It's just I finished the game a little bit too quick to like have that available once I finished the game. Because I finished the game and then it came out maybe a month or so later.
Because it was in the summer when the DLC came out. I was thinking. Well, it was summer when both of them.
Yeah.
When the game came out too.
It came out last March.
It wasn't March.
It was. It started like a month after I started working.
It came out a month before The Last of Us came out. The Last of Us came out in June.
Ghost of Tsushima?
Yeah. Because that was one of the big things is that.
No, I'm pretty sure it came out in March. March sounds right.
Regardless. I know Animal Crossing came out.
It was July 17.
I remember playing it.
We're all wrong.
Yeah.
When did Last of Us 2 come out?
It came out like no, it did come out. It came out a month before Ghost of Tsushima. That's what it was. So
June.
The Last of Us came out in June.
Last of Us was first, so June, then July.
Because
Last of Us 2 was good.
That's what a lot of people were talking about. They were like, "Oh, Ghost of Tsushima is just gonna drown under The Last of Us too," and stuff. And that definitely didn't happen. In fact, Ghost of Tsushima sold more.
Yeah. People were not very happy with Last of Us 2. I mean,
I wasn't being.
It's a bad game.
We've addressed Last of Us 2 before, so we don't need to go into that again.
Yeah.
I thought it was decent enough. I had fun playing it, but yeah, the story was iffy.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't like the direction.
Yeah.
That's really what it came down to.
Because it's not like it was like really bad. It's just kind of.
It just fixed a lot from the first one.
It's just kind of meh, is what it was.
It just wasn't it was not a solid direction for the story. It wasn't where the players wanted it to go. It might have been where the directors wanted it to go. Obviously, they made it. So,
right.
But it just there was a lot to.
And I'm usually like all for like very linear games, stuff like that. But I wasn't all in.
I was also kind of disappointed when they first opened up that big area, and I'm like, oh, there's like open-ish world sections, and then that was the only one. I was like, oh, why not a little bit more of that? That was cool. Like that was I get to a place and it's just like. Open world,
so
like a small scale. That was awesome.
They did that because in Uncharted Lost Legacy, they did that, but like on a bigger scale. There was like I think there was like 5 temples or whatever that you had to go.
Lost Legacy is that?
Uncharted Lost Legacy. It's
which one is that on?
It's basically like a prequel to Uncharted 4.
That was on the
PS4.
Oh, it was on PS4.
Yeah. It came out after Uncharted 4, and it was a prequel to it.
Was it like a DLC prequel?
No, it was like
its own standalone game.
It was a $40 standalone story game.
Never heard of it before. I kind of do want to play through those.
Yeah, the Uncharted games are really pretty solid for the most part.
They're not super long either.
No, you can. They're like all like around 10 hours. Like that. And the first one's less than that. The first one, I've beaten that game so many times. I've platinumed it like 3 times.
Seriously?
Yeah, because I platinumed it on one account, then I made a new account and I platinumed it, and then the re-release, the HD release came out, and I platinumed that.
That's the Nathan Drake collection?
Yeah. Which is probably the best way you're gonna want to play them.
Are all 4 games or just the first 3 games on the Nathan Drake collection?
The first 3.
And then 4th one, you just have to get
and then Lost Legacy. And then if you play a Vita, you can play Golden Abyss, which not worth it, in my opinion. Unless you're a huge fan of it, it's not worth it.
Yep, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
The movie's coming out though.
The movie's coming out.
I'm ready
Tom
for the
Holland.
movie. Tom Holland. Mark Wahlberg playing Sully.
Yeah,
I'm in.
They made someone made like a fan made
with
short.
Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, and
so good.
I watched it and I was like, man, this could be something or whatever. But Nathan Fillion is in. He'd have to do some working out to get the fit of Nathan Drake or whatever, because when in that short he would definitely wasn't.
Oh yeah, but like the way he acts, his demeanor in roles, even with very little I know of Nathan Drake, it just fits so well.
I just want to make sure that I don't really care about Nathan Drake as much if they do Sully the right way. I want Sully to be good.
We'll see.
That's all I want, because
like I said, Mark Wahlberg, he's pretty good, but he's had some miss roles.
Yeah,
it happens.
Because in the fan film, the guy they got for him, he wasn't bad, but he definitely wasn't like how Sully acts.
He wasn't right. Yeah. Not the perfect fit.
Sully is cocky. He's old, and he complains a lot.
Those are things I could see Mark Wahlberg pull off. I think we might be good then.
He complains a lot about being old, and he's always making like in the bad jokes or something like that.
They show Nathan Drake younger in the games at some points, don't they?
Yeah, I won't say which one in case you get around to it.
Yeah, is Sully still old in those parts? Is he still like gray hair kind of old in those points?
He's not young.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say he's old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then that's probably why Mark Wahlberg kind of makes sense in that role then.
Right. And like, man, like when like just the two of them together, like Drake and Sully, like I don't care about any. It doesn't even really matter about like the adventure that much or whatever. Like if you just kind of put them two in a game or whatever, and like just make them go on like a random adventure, like it could be anything.
You just want an Uncharted slice of life.
well, I mean, like.
just a day in the life of Nathan Drake, but like just at the office.
Because like, man, like they're the reasons like I really enjoy those games. Like just the two of them.
That's great.
And so
that's great.
Yeah, and it's like, man, that's why I care so much about like, you know, you just gotta do Sully right. Just make sure he's right, and like Drake will basically, as long as he can bounce off of him the right way. Which Sully's not even the main character. Drake is.
No,
but it's like it's basically the dynamic that they have.
Just as important.
Yeah, because it's more of like Drake by himself. He is funny, but he's not hilarious unless like you have like the contrast with Sully.
Yeah,
so
I like it,
and that's where the super fun stuff comes in. All right, I guess we'll end this part.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Bye.
Later.
Peace. We're BakaTaka.
We're BakaTaka.